Nation, welcome back to our channel. It's been a while since we filmed. A lot of things have been going on with the house. It's been crazy. But tonight is NFL Draft 2020. It's going to be a virtual draft. It's just crazy how things have changed that we are doing virtual drafts. But we are excited. A lot of things have happened in the offseason that we want to talk about before we get into the draft. So I think the biggest thing that we really want to talk about is the offseason coaching change. We got rid of Jason Garrett, brought in Mike McCarthy. He brought in his staff. He retained some staff. But I think that's the biggest offseason change we have made.
Yeah, it was time. It was time. We all wanted this for a long time. It's been a decade of mediocrity. I mean, 8-8, missing playoffs. It was just bad. This whole Jason Garrett tenure wasn't really good, but maybe one or two seasons, really.
Yeah, 2014.
I'm really glad we chose Mike McCarthy. That's the guy that I wanted. I remember showing her a documentary on Mike McCarthy during the season.
He spent a year just doing analytics in that video and addressing every position, every play, like what's going on. And I think that's like we were talking about. That's the trend in the NFL.
He was studying the game in his time off, and you could tell that he was doing his research. He had his own staff put together. He was evaluating players. I think one of the players he was evaluating was Dak. I think one of the videos he was talking about Dak. So yeah, I'm glad we got Mike McCarthy. He's a guy that has experience. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's gonna help better the team, especially Dak Prescott, because you've seen what Mike McCarthy has done with what he did with Aaron Rodgers.
He did. He has been on that big stage, took the Packers to a Super Bowl. I think it's just we're looking at two different styles. You're going from Jason Garrett to Mike McCarthy. To me, it seems like, passive to more aggressive. So that's what excites us about the new season is just
it's
a change. You're going to see a Cowboys team
fresh
that
face.
We would never think we would do stuff. That's what I'm expecting. Is like when you watch the game, you're going to be like, I would never expect Cowboys to make this call or do something like that.
Another thing that a lot of fans were angry about is because Jason Garrett was like stuck in the 90s. Mm-hmm. The game is changing, and that's what I liked about Mike McCarthy and his analytics study is because the game is starting to change towards that. More aggressive type play calls, and the game is changing. If you watch the Super Bowl and you saw the Chiefs and 49ers play, the Cowboys style of play from Jason Garrett being the head coach is not even close to those two teams and how they play.
It's different. And so he got full reign of bringing in his staff. So he brought in Mike Nolan, defense coordinator. But one good thing I really liked is he kept Kellen Moore. And I think that's a good part because we saw Dak really develop a lot more last year with Kellen Moore now calling the plays.
Yeah, I was happy because I remember they said Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones were going to give Mike McCarthy full range of filling his coaching staff. Mm-hmm. So the first guy that came to mind, I was like, everybody can go. Everybody can go on the staff. The only person that I would like us to retain is Kellen Moore.
And I like that.
Because that guy is an offensive genius. He's going to be the future of the NFL in terms of coaching. I think he's eventually going to get a head coaching job because another trend you're seeing is a lot of young offensive-minded coaches. Mm-hmm. Like San Francisco and
Mike
Shanahan. Sorry, coaching.
Not Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan is the coach for that team. So you're seeing a trend of more young, aggressive head coaches in the NFL, and I believe Kellen Moore eventually will become a head coach. So I'm glad that we did retain him.
So with having this new coaching staff comes in free agency, and we brought in quite a few players that, like I said, I don't think we would have done in the past. With Mike McCarthy's bringing in key players and players like Dontario Poe, Gerald McCoy, Clinton Dix. We got Aldon Smith out of retirement, whatever he came out of, and hopefully maybe Randy Gregory once this whole CBA thing processes and he comes back to us.
I really liked all those signings, but my favorite would be Aldon Smith because we know what he can do on the field.
Yeah.
And he's given a second chance here. Well, maybe like a fifth chance. He's had so many chances in the NFL, but Aldon Smith, when he's on the field, he can really play. And he's a dominant pass rusher, and he'll get to the quarterback. And if he's anything half of what he was, opposite to D-Law, we'll see some success there. And Gerald McCoy and Dontario Poe, we finally signed a defensive tackle in free agency that has a track record in the NFL. Both of those guys can play.
I feel like we've filled those holes that we've been missing for a while. We've had a tough time with defense tackle and safety. I feel like those were two on the defense side. We put Band-Aids over it, but we never really got a solid somebody. So now with Dontari Poe, Gerald McCoy, and HaHa Clinton Dix, that helps that part. But the thing is now we fixed those problems, but we also lost some key players in the free agency. Some of the notable players is we lost Randall Cobb, we lost Byron Jones, and we lost Robert Quinn, which created other holes now.
I really wanted to retain Robert Quinn so bad. He's one of my favorite players. He had an amazing season last year. I think he was our sack leader on our team.
Yep.
Randall Cobb, I thought he would stay.
I thought
he was at Mike McCarthy's press conference. So when he left, I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow, I really thought he would stay at slot receiver for us and help us exceed with Mike McCarthy. But he took the money. He left to the Texans. So that's a hole we were interested in the slot receiver position. I remember they mentioned Emmanuel Sanders as somebody we were interested in, but he ended up going to the Saints. So we'll see in the draft what the Cowboys do at slot receiver. We're gonna address that position maybe, but if we don't, there is still free agents available. My guy Dez is out there.
Dez is always out there. He's ready, and he's ready to come back.
He looks so good in his workouts. Oh my god. He was working out with Mahomes, so I would love to have 88 back. He's still a red zone target. He can get up there. He can get the ball. So we'll see.
We'll see what Cowboys.
We'll see what happens at the receiver position. And we also had lost Byron, and we resigned Anthony Brown. We've got Jordan Lewis and Cheeto out there. So most people with the draft coming up, we want to address that cornerback position with our first pick. So we'll see guys like C.J. Henderson's out there and Diggs from Alabama. So we can address those three holes in the draft.
So another thing about offseason we want to talk about is Dak's contract. Is he worth the $33 million or $40 million that he's asking for? Is he worth it? I don't know about the pricing, but I'm going to say we need to sign Dak. I think you've gone through the post-Aikman era of all these quarterbacks. It's hard. It took a long time for us to go from Aikman to Romo, and we were lucky to even find somebody right after Romo. We all thought it was going to take a while till we found somebody. So having Dak, and he's improved over the years, and having Mike McCarthy, a new style of play, a new coaching staff, keeping Kellen Moore, I think Dak does great in Dallas.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's been the number one topic of our offseason. Forget free agency in the draft. It's been Dak. Are we going to pay Dak the past 2 years? He bet on himself last year. Dak looked amazing. Dak was throwing the ball well. He was more aggressive. You could see he was more accurate. You could tell that his game is elevating. I would pay Dak just because I know what it is. I know how hard it is to find a quarterback that can play in the NFL at that type of level and be successful. The Cowboys, we went through so many quarterbacks after Aikman got hurt. Guys like Clint Stoner, Anthony Wright. We even had Ryan Leaf play a game for us. Chad Hutchinson, Quincy Carter. We had Banks play a game for us, but our preseason he got cut. But it's hard to find a quarterback, and I just believe you have to pay Dak. Yeah. He's a winner, and Dak is only going to get better.
I think so too. So let's talk about the draft. We are drafting at number 17. We are in the middle of the draft. It is such an awkward position, I feel like, because we're dead in the middle. The top 10 to 12 players are usually set top, starting players, and then you go lower into the draft in the 20s, and you still get starting players. I just feel like that's such an awkward position for us.
We are going to get a better understanding of after the first top 10 picks go.
Right.
We'll be able to see, not really, you can't see the future, but we'll be able to try to evaluate the players that are on our board, on them coming down to us at 17. I would like a corner. Yes. C.J. Henderson is a real good corner. He could come in there and start for us, and so can Diggs. I just believe Henderson will be gone by the time. We could also use the pass rusher from LSU on the opposite end of D-Law, but we'll just take whatever's best available, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, but those positions you cannot go wrong with.
No. I think we're going to address defense in the first round.
Yeah, so do I.
But like I said, we're such an awkward position. C.J. Henderson is predicted to go way before us, and Trayvon Diggs is projected below us in his draft. So that's what I'm saying. You're in this awkward position. But like you said, once we get the first 10 draft picks out, 10, 15 draft picks out the way, we evaluate what we have, and I'm hoping it's a defense. So let's talk about some other positions that we do need to address in the draft, whether it would be first round or even second round to seventh round. We talked about cornerback, we talked about defense line. Let's talk about a tight end.
Yeah, I'm a big fan and supporter of Blake Jarwin, so I was glad we signed him. last year, I feel like bringing back Jason Witten just stopped Jarwin's progression because I thought that was going to be his breakout year. But I'm glad we signed Jarwin. We paid him a good amount of money, so I believe we drafted him to be our starter.
I like him. I just feel like we never really developed a tight end behind Jason Witten. I feel like we just thought Jason Witten was just going to be there.
We had like Gavin Escobar.
You
and
had
before Michael
Escobar.
Bennett. So there's the tight end position has always been a limb behind Jason Witten, but it's time. And we re-signed Jarwin. I believe he's going to be the starter, but we can always use depth in this draft at tight end position.
And then we also address wide receiver. They're very good wide receivers. I believe they will all go in the first round. You have Henry, you have Judy, Juice, however you say his name. Jerry Judy. And then C.D. Lamb.
Got Jefferson from LSU.
Which are really three good wide receivers we like. I doubt we'll get them. They'll probably go way above board for us. But I think there's a lot of depth that we can find in wide receivers there.
The draft is packed in receivers, so we can find a slot receiver somewhere.
I mean, Michael Gallup was not a first-round pick, and
exactly,
how well he does. So I feel like we could address that in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, we can.
But I think what we really do need to address in the first 3 rounds is offense line. With Travis Frederick now retiring, it's going to be tough. I mean, Joe Looney came in, filled his spot. He did an excellent job, but we don't know. Is that a temporary thing? Is it going to be a permanent? But our offensive line is aging. Tyron Smith has been in the league for quite a few years. He is injury prone. He did get hurt a lot last year. And trying to just plug and play these players in the offensive line was hard. We need to address some backups on that.
Yeah, definitely. We Cam Fleming, I think, left. So Suaflo, what's his name? Xavier
Suafilo.
Yes, that's something like that. But he's gone. So we'll see what happens there. We can definitely use depth at the offensive line, center, guard, tackle. We need depth at offensive line. That's another position that people are sleeping on that they haven't really talked about. The Cowboys do need depth at offensive line.
We're excited to see what Cowboys do. Hopefully, it's something
big night.
Something exciting is going to happen. There's a lot of rumors about trades too, not with just the Cowboys, but with Dolphins, all these players. So I think this draft is going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see who Cowboys get, who starts for us, what happens. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Let us know who you think that Cowboys should draft or will draft. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye.